Good morning. Sorry I was gone for so long. I missed you too. Man, taxi drivers are jerks. I waved to them to say hello, and they just pull over and stare at me like I'm an idiot. Have you ever just had one of those weeks? Of my 3 jobs, I was laid off at my most regular source of income and replaced by a robot. I'm not kidding. So now this show and my t-shirt sales over at punkpatriot.etsy.com are my primary source of income. Now I had done the responsible thing and saved up a big load of money, but my car died and I had to dump just about $1,000 into that. My computer just died, my faulty power supply decided to shit the bed, and in the process fried both of my hard drives. Data that I've had since high school. Poof, gone. That sucks. 6 months ago, my other primary source of income, my upright bass, was vandalized, so I've been taking my bass lessons through the university without a bass. It's not really working out so well. I had to pay my college tuition out of pocket again. That sucked. I'm only taking half a credit and it cost me $615. I still don't have health insurance, and while my gums have been receding for a while, they've just started bleeding when I brush my teeth. One of my neighbors shot and killed a bear. They have it hanging from a tree in their front yard with a neck cut open and flayed so that the carcass can bleed out. Worst Christmas tree decoration ever. And I think I should point out, his wife runs a daycare center and this bear is hanging right in the kids' play area. Those kids will turn out just fine. And flagrant racism is still alive and well in the United States. And no, I'm not talking about the Tea Party Patriots, Rush Limbaugh, or Glenn Beck. This past week in Louisiana, a district judge decided to refuse a marriage license. Not to a gay couple, but to an interracial couple. Racism. The reason being that interracial marriages don't work out. That's a sobering reminder of how far we are from that mountaintop MLK Jr. talked about, isn't it? I'm still waiting for the day when it becomes common wisdom that race is merely a societal construction that we use to categorize groupings of physical traits. Now, what if a person of Zulu ancestry wanted to marry someone of Maasai ancestry? What if an Mbuti and a Wolof wanted to get married? An Ashanti and a Batwa? I doubt that this judge would have any problem with any of those unions, but really, when does somebody become a separate race? Are Asians white? What about Indians? Cambodians? Thai? Are they black? What about Greeks and Italians? Which are they? Are they black or are they white? Are Arabs and Jews white? And what about the Native Americans? Are Slavs, Germans, Irish, French, Italian, Japanese, Hungarian, Chinese, Jews, and Arabs all in one category? And then the Maori, Batwa, Ashanti, Zulu, Native Americans, Dogon, Wolof, Arabs, Cambodians, and Thai, are they all in another? Or maybe is the idea of race a bunch of bullshit we need to get rid of? What's fucked up is I thought we were over this whole interracial marriage thing and could move on to the next frontier in systematic discrimination. Gay marriage. Now, I live in a state that recently legalized gay marriage, so it's easy for me to forget how socially retarded the rest of the United States is. Louisiana, what the fuck is wrong with you? For instance, the mainstream news just a few months ago was making a huge deal about Obama giving federal employees domestic partnership rights. Here in Maine, we're like 20 years ahead of that. In Maine, it's illegal to fire somebody because they're gay. That's not the case in most states. And come November, so long as the referendum fails, we'll have full marriage equality in this state. It's really sad that the federal government is making such baby steps to something that's so blatantly obvious. Now, to be fair, this issue is slowly working its way through Congress. Very slowly. We need to repeal DOMA. We need to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. We need to make it illegal at the federal level for people to get fired for being gay. And we need to fix Title V retirement benefits so that they apply to all partnerships, not just heterosexual ones. Thing is, though, this whole thing could be resolved with just one court case. Conservative blowhards often complain about liberal activist judges legislating from the bench. Really, nothing could be further from the truth. It's the Constitution that's liberal, not the judges. Judges study the Constitution and law. Most legislators don't. Congresspeople are just assholes who happen to have been elected. They don't need to be constitutional scholars. They don't need to have an understanding of the philosophy of liberty or a grasp of American history. They only need to be 35. Judges correct illegal legislation.
Seriously, what the fuck, Louisiana?
Illegal legislation that perhaps seeks to create separate but equal marriage categories, or force people to lie to their bosses about their sexual orientation. For instance. Another thing that bugs me is the way that this is covered in the mainstream news. There are not two sides to this issue. The mainstream press does not participate in journalism. For some reason, if you show the two sides of an argument, that the fact-checking will just happen on its own. I was listening about a month ago to two people discussing the issue of gay marriage in the state of Maine. One of the people was in favor of gay marriage and gave legal and logical arguments. The other person was against it on religious grounds and gave emotional arguments. The pro-equality guy made arguments that were based in fact. Anti-equality guy came up with a bunch of bullshit lies about kids being forced to be gay by their public school teachers, and he rambled on about the Bible. Sorry, douchebag, the Bible doesn't apply here because we don't live in a theocracy. If you want to take your holy book and impose its rules on yourself, that's fine, but leave the rest of us alone. We have a constitution and rights and shit, and if you don't like it, you can get the fuck out of my country. Go join Al-Qaeda or some shit. Now, my local news channel has been doing segments on the referendum issues coming up. To cover the pro-equality side of the gay marriage issue, they did a human interest story on this normal family with two well-adjusted kids, straight-A students, and they had two moms! Yay! The story made a case for marriage equality pretty well. It showed that they're a normal family and there's no reason to be afraid of them or to discriminate against them. The couple made their case by saying that they didn't want their government to treat them like they were less than human. And their kids wanted them to be able to get married because it only seemed fair. The couple also talked about the rights that they don't currently have, like hospital visitation rights or inheritance rights. But then, after the news story was over, going back into the studio, the local news anchor wanted to make sure that we knew that this was only one side of the story, and that they were doing a follow-up piece with a traditional family.
What the fuck is traditional?
Who opposed gay marriage. This is not journalism. This issue does not have two sides with equal weight. One side wants equal protection under the law. The other side is scared of gay people. The two differing opinions are not of equal weight. The people who oppose marriage equality are a bunch of homophobes who want the government to deny rights to a specific group of people. If there was a referendum today reinstating the old rule that black people are only 3/5 of a human being, the news would treat both sides as if they had equal weight. They would just have two talking heads come in and both state their sides and then pretend that that was journalism instead of investigating the issue and saying, hey, not only is that shit immoral and wrong, but it's also illegal. Now here's Bob with the weather.
If you like my t-shirt, then you should buy my t-shirts. Come on and buy those t-shirts from me. If you give me money, I'll make you a t-shirt. Only cause I can't afford to make your shirts for free. Got money and you don't want it, go on, give that money to me. But if you got money and you want a t-shirt, go to punkpatriot.etsy.com.